what about Kanchenjunga? Third highest, over 8,500 meters too, but the name.
Five treasures of snow. And it's not just a fancy name, it actually has five peaks, and each one is considered sacred by the locals. On the border of Nepal and India. Pretty amazing site.
5 peaks is like a mountain range all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of amazing, gotta mention Lhotse, fourth highest, and sharing a climbing route with Everest, no less.
South Peak. That's what Lhotse means in Tibetan. Simple, right? But it kind of foreshadows how tough it is to climb, especially compared to some others.
So even the simple names tell a story. Okay, what about Makalu? That one's next on the list, yeah.
Makalu comes in at 8,485 meters. Big one. Name might come from Mahakala, which is like a god name, Shiva, in Hinduism. And the mountain itself is this huge E-pyramid, super isolated, known for being tough to climb.
So you got the top five, all crazy tall, and then what?
Cho-Oyu is up next. Sixth highest, but it's considered one of the easier climbs, relatively speaking, of course. Still over 8,000 meters, but doable if you're, into that sort of thing.
Turquoise goddess, that's what Choyu means, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And it's popular not just for hardcore climbers, but trekkers too. Amazing views, apparently.
Makes sense. Got to have some beauty to balance out the danger, right? So what's next on the list?
Dhaulagiri, seventh highest, and the name is, well, pretty literal. White Mountain. Makes sense when you see it, all covered in snow and ice. Very striking.
Straightforward, but effective. You can picture it instantly, can't you? What about Manaslu, number 8?
Manaslu is a little bit shorter, 8,163 meters. It's called the Mountain of the Spirit, and that comes from Manasa, which is like intellect or soul in Sanskrit. This one's revered not just for being tall, but for its beauty, the whole area. There's a famous trek, the Manaslu Circuit, that goes around it. It's supposedly one of the best in the Himalayas.
Okay, so we've got all these evocative names tied to spirituality, gods, and then there's Annapurna Mahat.
Annapurnavite is the 10th highest, just over 8,000 meters, but the name, it's a goddess, Hindu goddess of harvest, nourishment. Kind of fitting, considering it's part of this whole mountain range, the Annapurna Massif, that's huge GE.
Right, and that whole massif is a big deal for the folks living around there, right? Not just for climbing, but, well, like the name suggests, it supports them.